So now next in the move list is her twos. Her standing 2, 10 frames, as you can see, is a 10 frame mid. It's not a true mid. Like if they have something that low profiles, this will just miss. But it has the most range out of her normals. As you can see, 2 reaches where back 1 will not. It has like slightly more range. Like very, very, very slightly. So the main reason why you want to use this on hit, there's really no reason actually. Because I'm trying to just do it where, it take care of on hit, on block, and then all the other crap. It's 10 frames, so it's a frame faster than the back 1. It also does a lot of damage too, like for a starter. So as you can see, this is 455. If you did back 1-1, this 467. It does like 1% less, give or take. But it still does more than the other starter, which would be down 1-2, which as you can see it's only 444. And then even with 1-1, it also does 444. So you do get a little burst of damage, a little more for it, like 1% more. So yeah. It's not really all that great for on hit. Even if you do like 2-2-3, like if you manage to hit them with it, like it has a lot of advantage, but if they tech roll it, this is if they don't tech, you have all this advantage, but if they tech roll, where's the... You see, I actually got punished for it. See, I have to be like super frame perfect, or else I can get punished. As opposed to this, like look at all this time that I already had. Look, I'm still able to like move around. Like it doesn't really have use on hit, more or less. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. The only real benefit for this string is its block benefits. So this is all good. Let me remove that. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this. Everybody is aware of this string. That this is the plus 12 string. Like when that last hit comes out, she's massively plus. If you stagger it, it's kind of the same exact situation as 113. If you stagger it, she's still safe. But the gap is larger than the 113 one. I think it's like a 10 frame gap. So they can also armor this too. So that's why you just want to be careful, like when you throw this stuff out. So it's roughly the same exact mind game as the 113. In a sense of you can always just, stagger it and just block, wait for them to match something. You can cancel into a floor bounce again, floor or wall bounce. Depending on their habits, to beat them out. Again, if they block it, you're still plus, And yeah, so if that last hit makes contact, you're so plus that you're more or less guaranteed to grab. So a lot of the sequences for this is just, if you manage to get this out, like let's say you jump in like this, you can jail with the 113 just to keep that offense going. Let me turn this back to 2, and also you can see the meter build. As you can see, I just did all that. In most cases, like 99% of the time, this is 100% guaranteed and safe. And like, let's say you gave that distance, you did all that. I did all that pressure, I spent a bar, but then I almost got a bar back. So it's really good for the meter build. Don't focus on the chip itself when it comes to normals. But as you can see, like it's really good for that reason. So like let's say you don't really throw this out that much just because it has that gap. You don't really want to get blown up for it all the time. You can do this and then grab them. Or like you can use the string itself as a setup for a grab, just to get that damage. Or also like let's say let's say you're backed up against the corner, right? You finally get a turn, you throw this out, you use that so that you can swap sides. Like this is really why you want to use a string, like on block. Like this is the main purpose for it. It's just for those situations. It's like it's good for a grab setup or just to keep on initiating pressure, like for the chip and for the meter build and all that stuff. And oh, I also forgot to mention this. A lot of people do this too. This is also part of the baiting. There's a big gap, right? People like to backdash. You can just bait the backdash. Just hold, you know, just do it, wait, and then punish them for it. Or if you know that it's coming, just do it that way. Like right now, I'm holding back. As you can see, like you can see my inputs, I'm holding back just in case. Same with 1-1. They like to backdash it, just wait, and then punish them for it. So that's also an additional layer of meta for it. And this is why I get so frustrated when people complain about gaps in general. It's like, just because there's a gap, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You know, like there's still so many layers on top of it. You know, it doesn't matter that it's a gap or not. Like if it's a gap that completely negates everything, then sure, but you have all this meta to it, you know? Or if somebody's like mashing like a meter burn forward 3 or back 3 all the time, then you can bait it, do a parry, and then get a full-blown punish for it with a damage boost. But yeah, that's really that. Geez, this is a lot to cover. I feel like this video is going on for a while. I'm probably going to break it down into different segments, like the 1s, the 2s, and all that. So yeah, lasso slam her back 2. It's how many frames? 21, okay. This is one of those moves that you're gonna love and hate. And if you already main her, you already know why. It's great for the distance that it has. But it's one of those very buggy things. Before I cover all the buggy stuff, do not use this as an anti-air. Let me just cover the things, like on hit. I have a tendency to use it as an anti-air just because I'm just like, oh my god, like, it's a big lasso swinging around. Like, I should be able to hit them out of the air with it. No, it doesn't work that way. So it's like, if you're trying to contest this space, sure, use this. But do not try to use this as an anti-air. Unless you're going to be touching the tip of it as it's coming down, like you know that it's going to hit them as they're coming down, then you can use this as like a means to anti-air them. But just don't use it like on default. Don't try to use this as an anti-air. For some reason, it doesn't work like a normal move. I don't know why, but you know, like it is what it is. So it's an overhead. One of the best benefits. This is one of the things that a lot of people, even the pro players, don't really acknowledge this. It's a form of blocking. It's a way of blocking, and it incorporates the movement itself. Because it's a back-to-block game, you have no choice but to hold back when it comes to blocking overheads. Alright, so unless you're doing like an instant block, like an instant hold back, most people, if they're expecting overheads, or there's a lot of overheads coming from the opposing character, they're going to just keep on walking back. This is good for you because it doesn't really matter who you are as a character, but if they're constantly holding back because they're fearing overheads, you're pushing them closer to the corner. You're walking them down to the corner. So this is what makes this move so useful in that sense, because they're constantly walking back. So let them walk back. It doesn't matter. That's where you want them. You want them cornered. So that's why you want to keep on making use of this, because if they're respecting lows for whatever reason, they're expecting you to block low, they're just holding down. They're not moving anywhere. They're planted on the ground, right where they are. You're not budging them. So that's why you want to keep on making use of this, because it keeps on forcing them back all the time. It keeps on forcing them back. So that's really the benefit for it. And again, it's an overhead. And then her forward 2, I know I'm jumping a little bit, but forward 2 is the low. So it's like let's say you're just over here and you want to just mix them really, like you want to do like a clutch mix, you do have that option. You can do the forward 2, or you can do the back 2. You know, like on wake up. Just because they are a little too slow to really just throw them out. So I guess this is 21 frames, this is 22 frames. Because it's a little too slow to just throw it out, like attempting to mix somebody. And as you can see, it's not even going to reach. The low isn't going to reach them. you have to be like right on top of them. So if they're over here, if they have a brain and if they know the matchup, there's no reason for them to block low at this distance. So if they're smart, they're going to keep on trying to outmaneuver you, so they're going to keep on walking back. So it's just, you know, like, be aware of those things and pay attention to how it is that they're blocking and their movements, so that you can take advantage, you know, of how to throw out the back two and how to utilize that space, like how to contest in that space. So yeah, that's what it's really good for, in a sense of controlling movement and controlling space. One option that you have from this, you can also cancel from this, so that also helps. But let me cover that afterwards. From here, you have back 2-3. Back 2-3 is plus on block. It is that back 2-3? Yeah, it's +4. So you do have a decent amount of plus frames. Again, with this too, there is a gap. But the mind game with this also is, if you just do back 2 on its own, as you can see, it's only -3. You're not going to get punished at all. So if you're constantly trying to like mash a counter poke, trying to interrupt the gap, or if they're trying to armor the gap, you can just do back 2 and just be on your merry way. Let them throw out the moves and just bait them for it. And just have a habit of doing that, of mixing it up between just doing back 2, back 2s, and then back 2-3. Back 2 into shield bash. This is a jailing block string. They can't interrupt this. The only option is to push block this or to block it in general. They can't backdash this or anything. So it's also a good way to get guaranteed chip. And that's really covering that in the sense of like on hit. And again, like the 50-50 is like you knock them down, like let's say, and then you Oki them with the back 2, or you Oki them with the forward 2. But that's really it. When it comes to the back 2, like back 2-3, I'm going to show you what happens at a distance. If I'm up close and she does a reversal, I get punished, as you can see. If you create distance first, this happens. So this is why you want to understand the range of this move, so you're not putting yourself in a situation to get punished, to get interrupted. Know the distance and know how to make, you know, the best use of it. And as you can see, the second hit does have a little bit more range. See, baited them for moving. I did all that just because they wanted to be reckless. But yeah, the second hit has a little bit more range, as you saw right there. Like the first hit whiffed, but then the second hit made contact. So it's just being aware of that. And it's really just how you use this. And as you saw, it does have that pushback. So this is what lets you do stuff like this. Because you have all this additional pushback, because things have travel time if they're going a distance, except for Starfire, because, you know, why should she be balanced? Because of the distance, a lot of things, they have travel time. So even though this is like 15 frames, the lasso grab is 15 frames, and she's doing an 8-frame reversal. Even though she's supposed to be able to beat me, I still beat her, just because she has to take into account the time to travel that distance. So that's what you can make use of moves like that. Or like you can use the bash if they don't really have something that's advancing. Obviously we're trading just because, you know, it's like it's the same move, but you know, like you have that kind of situation. When it comes to the corner, this is where you get to like really make good use of it and like really get to bully people all the time. Because you have like this, you're covering all this range, you have these plus frames. You see, this is what I meant by it's funny, it acts weird. But this is where you start like stacking stuff up. Like let's say she's not doing anything, right? She's just blocking. Because most people are going to block when you start conditioning them with all of your options. Let's say you're just doing back 1, 2, 3, you still have, you see how it pushes her back, so you're back in that sweet spot range. You can check them with that. Let's say they're just waiting for something, you can use this, you're still plus, you can check them with that, you can use this, back up, you know, literally just keep on stacking them, you know. Like this is how you start stacking the things up. Obviously I haven't covered the jump 3, but this is how you start stacking, this is how you start controlling range. Or even the lasso. I haven't mentioned the lasso grab, but this is where you make use of it. You're not trying to open people up. That's my biggest advice. That's kind of my biggest peeve. She isn't a mixed character. She has an overhead and a low. Yes, that's fine, whatever. But she is not a mixed character. She's not designed to mix. Like, she's designed to contest and to control this range and to bully people and to build all this, all this meter, do all this chip. Like, look, just look at this sequence, for example. Like, let's say I'm just harassing them, right? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Just doing my jump 3. I haven't used a single special yet. But if I want to, I can. I have this option. I messed that up. I was supposed to do another bash right after. But as you can see, I literally am not putting myself in any situation to get punished. Like, I can't get punished. And look at all the chip that I managed to do. Obviously, I used up my resources. In a real match, I would not be this careless in a sense of meter. But as you can see, like, you're still building this meter in the process. I have not opened her up at all. I haven't done anything to the opponent in terms of like actual on-hit damage. This is all just chip. And you kind of want to keep that in mind all the time. Like when mixing all these things up, your chip comes from specials. The chip actually counts when it's from a special. With Wonder Woman, you always want to have bar if you're using specials. How do you have bar? You need to build it. So that's why you want to do all this chip first, so that you build that meter. So that way you can meter bring your specials, and you can make use of them, and do more chips. So you kind of just want to keep on cycling it all out. Like, get into that mindset of having like that, I guess that symphony, if you want to call it that, of, like doing the chip first, doing the strings, stagger strings, build that meter, burn that meter, do that chip, and keep on rinsing and repeating all the time. It gets a little boring, or to some people it seems a little boring, but that's how she's supposed to be played. That's how you get the most mileage out of her design. And this is primarily why you want to keep them in a corner, because you're bullying them. You're keeping them here, locked in here. They try to jump out, oh look, you get anti-aired. They're trying to jump out, as you keep on walking back, you can snag them out with the lasso. They're trying to contest, or they're trying to armor, throw this out, breaks that armor, does that burst damage, puts them right back in square one. So that's why you always want to keep them here, and this is when you start stacking all these things, and this is where you use them the most. And that's really that. Like, one of the things that you want to practice too. Well, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Cancel. Yeah, cancel. One of the things that you want to practice is the frame for doing 2 back 2s back to back. You see this timing that I'm doing? Try to understand this double timing. Just because it works on block and it works on hit. Well, I messed that up, as you can see, for the double hits. So one, you're safe, right? If it's blocked, you're safe. And if it hits them, you can hit confirm. Like, you see it coming out. You can even end it with this. You can do that. If you have a super, it's also very, very, very viable. You can just do this and cancel into the super and get all this damage for it too. So it does take some practice, but you really want to try to get that down, that double back 2. Try to understand the timing of it, because it's nearly identical between on block and on hit. Just because this, trying to cancel into the super, it's not practical, trying to hit confirm into it. Oh. Does that work actually? No, see? It's just, it's not too viable, that's the only thing. As you can see, I was mashing it because I kind of expected it coming already. But it's again, just like in the heat of a match, it's just better to do this because it's gonna hit. Like, if you know the timing, they're gonna connect. And if it's blocked, it's still 2 blocked back 2s. So, you don't lose anything. And that's really that whole string on its own. Back 2, back to 3. Oh, and I guess the hit advantage of it too. You have so much hit advantage. It's really weird because you don't recover right away. See, look. you can get trade out safely. If they tech roll it, you get even more plus frames, as you can see. So you can also use this like mid-screen also, just like whip a bash and close in on them. Where the hell is Wake Up? Why am I missing all this stuff? As you can see. So it's similar to 113 in a sense of it has that corner carry if you want to go for that. So you can do that, or you can just literally just dash up if you want and just do it that way. So that's just the main utility of it. When it comes to forward 2-3, just because I feel like I'm stretching this out for too long. Forward 2 on its own, it is safe, so you're fine with that. And the string itself on block is also safe. So a lot of people, they think of it as like, oh my god, it's a free combo launcher. The thing is, it's like she's safe, but she's not plus, she's not even neutral. So you get your turn right back. And again, it's like, if you're letting this character throw out this 22 frame move right in your face, that's really all on you. Like, it's not happening unless she's directly on top of you. In which, if you're just gonna contest with counter pokes, you're always going to beat her out. Even if you, or if you just mash an armored move, it'll interrupt it because it's pretty slow. But this move in general, you really don't want to use it on block. At least that's just my experience. That's kind of my go-to. It's just really bad play. It's bad play trying to jump in at somebody and trying to throw this out. Because she's not a mixed character. That's just not what she is. It's just really good. Like, let's say you Oki them, right? You go up and you do all this. Like what I was showing before, it's good if you use the floor of the wall bounce to patch it up. Patch it up in a sense that if they do an invincible wake up, this will eat the invincibility and it'll register like a hit, and it allows the floor bounce to come out. Let me see the best way to actually illustrate this. Her upward bash is an invincible wake up, right? As you can see, it didn't make contact with her. See, she didn't take any damage. But most wake ups, they don't work that way, where it kind of like shifts the hitbox like all over the place, like with her up bash. But it's like it would let you eat the damage, be safe, and have that armor to hit them out of the wake up afterwards, because the invisibility is gone at that point. So that's why you want to use it, like to patch it up. Like if you're trying to mix, that's why you want to do this, so that you can cover yourself up that way. This is like your insurance, more or less. Sorry if it's like clicking, I just had to fix the mic really quick. It made like a whole bunch of rustling. But yeah, so that's how you want to use it. Just because, let's say you did what I was doing and you just do forward 2-3, you don't have that insurance if you're just committing to this. So you're gonna get hit. And if it's a wake up that grants them, you know, like on hit a full blown combo, you're getting full blown punished for this. So this is why you want to patch it up. At least that's honestly my advice, but I feel like that's just the best way to use it. Like if you really feel the need to do it, or if it's like a really clutch moment, like you need to do something clutch more or less to help you out in the round to catch up, or to like to win because the time's about to run out and all that stuff, this is when you would do it. But keep in mind, you need the meter for it. So don't try this if you don't have the bar, because then there's no point. But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Forward 2-3 is your basic BMP starter. That's every BMP that she does, really. It's just forward 2-3, and then, you know, there you go. So yeah, that's that. And then lastly, her down 2. Her down 2, it's one of the, I think it's the second slowest next to Ivy's. It's 13 frame startup. As you can see, it's -11, so it is punishable, like if you do it in their face. And it is a little bit on the slow side, but it's very good for the neutral. As you can see, it covers all this range, like all this horizontal range. So it is a good way to like contest this space, because most people, they're not going to be able to punish you over here anyways. And if they're trying to like mash an instant jump, this will catch them out. So this is where you really use it. And I'm talking about like on block situations, like that's where you want to throw it out. If you have the bar and you want to just be extra safe, you can cancel into that. Like I'll show you. It's a block string. Or if you want to catch them mashing, you can cancel into the lasso, and it beats out like instant reversals or like back. I don't think it catches backdashing, but it catches like instant pokes. So you can use this to throw them off. And that's really just how you use it on block. I'm only covering on block first just because it doesn't have that much utility outside of this. And that's really it. That's how you use it on block. The main benefit for it is on hit, but again, like I was saying, it's a little bit on the slow side. So you kind of have to be a little preemptive with it. Jump forward. See, like if you're waiting, like if you're not paying too much attention, at this point, if you're doing a jump attack, you're gonna get hit already. It's too late. You're gonna get hit, so your down 2 attempt is completely pointless. Like you can try to hit them with like a down 1 or something, or just keep on holding back. Or if you see them jumping at you, just like move forward, or bash under, or try to meter them back 3 or forward 3, whatever. But it's not practical. It's not really all that viable if you're waiting too long. Like that's why you always want to keep a distance, just that you can see them coming. You can see the range that it, that it covers. So you want to give yourself room and time to be able to react. So you can get to down 2, connect it back 3, and just punish them for jumping at you. It is able to hit behind her, but as you can see, it's very buggy as to how that works. So that's why you don't really want to commit to this, or you don't want to depend on this for an anti-air when it comes to them being like directly right on top of you. Just because it's not going to work, plain and simply. Too many times it's not going to work. So that's why you just want to be aware of the spacing and use it for that reason. And that's really it for down 2 and all the 2s in general.